Buying a house right now feels like a scam. And the craziest part is people don't realize it until after they sign those papers.
In February, talking about some yo payment is $34.50. I bet it ain't.
Buying a home has been a living hell, so let's talk about it.
Okay, so here's something they will not tell you when you buy a house.
Now, I'm not saying buying a house is completely a scam, but the way people are buying right now, that's where things get so dangerous. And once you actually look at what's happening behind the scenes, it starts to make a lot more sense. So if you want to understand why this feels like a scam, it starts with one thing: the payment.
There's a development around you that now that land this year is worth $110,000, and they put a 400 and something, almost $500,000 house on top. So now your taxes are gonna go to correct. So now your mortgage is going to increase.
Now hold on, catch what he just said. The house didn't change, the taxes did.
Now your mortgage is going to increase. Now when they done tell you got a fixed rate, you got a fixed payment and all, they not explaining to you that the property taxes will increase that payment.
This right here is where people get trapped. They hear that fixed rate and think that means fixed payment. Like once you sign, that number is just gonna be locked in forever. And mind you, the realtors are not disclosing any of that information to them, or at least to the people that don't ask.
We is struggling. The county, the city, the states, America is down.
And this is the part that hits people after they buy, because your mortgage isn't just your loan. It's your taxes and your insurance, and those can go up every single year. And in a lot of areas, property taxes have been rising fast, and some homeowners are seeing increases of hundreds of dollars per month. So yeah, your rate might be fixed, but your payment, that's a whole different story.
But now they're telling us that we are $10K behind in escrow, and our new payment will be $4,600.
Guys, from $3,200 to $4,600. This isn't just a small increase anymore. This is life-altering events.
I don't know in whose right mind that would be legal. It feels like theft. If you read a lot of their reviews.
She really said it feels like theft, guys. At this point, you're not even paying a mortgage anymore. You're just donating to the bank.
A lot of people have had very similar issues, and honestly, I don't know how this isn't like a class action lawsuit against these mortgage companies.
And honestly, guys, this is where it stops being just confusing and starts getting a little scary for these first-time homebuyers like myself. Soon enough, what she's dealing with is called an escrow shortage. Basically, the account that's supposed to cover your taxes and insurance just does not have enough money in it. So now you have two options. Either you pay the difference up front, or your lender spreads it out into your monthly payment. And that's how you go from $3,300 to over $4,000 a month. So now you're not just paying for your house, you're paying for what your house costs to exist. And the worst part is, she's not even asking for anything crazy. She just wants to know what happened. And this is why buying a house right now can feel like a scam, because the number you see at the start is not always the number you end up paying. And if you think that's bad, that's just the beginning. So now your payment goes up, you're already stressed, and then the house starts charging you in ways you didn't even expect. Stuff just starts breaking magically.
Before you buy a house, just know every time something breaks, it's gonna cost you at least $1,000.
Bro, $1,000 minimum is insane. And he's not even exaggerating. This is what people don't realize about owning a home.
I don't care who you call, I don't care what it is. At least $1,000 is coming out of your bank account every single time. I've become a YouTube expert at this point. I'm tired of giving my money away.
When something breaks, HVAC, 5 to 10K. A new roof, 8 to 15. Any sort of plumbing issues that you have, $1,000 easy. Rent is the most you'll pay. Your mortgage is the least you'll pay. As a renter, something breaks, you call maintenance and it gets it done. As a homeowner, you call your bank account. Homeowners are typically told to expect around 1 to 3% of their home's value every year in maintenance. So yeah, the down payment gets you in the door, but the maintenance is what keeps you paying.
I'm a pretty blunt person, so I'm just gonna tell you how it is. If you're not handy, don't buy a house.
Now, I don't 100% agree with that, but I get what he's saying.
The amount of repairs that you're going to make as a homeowner are going to outweigh any perks there is to home ownership. Does that make sense?
Because when you own a house, there's no landlord, there's no maintenance guy. You are the maintenance department. So if something breaks at 2 a.m., guess who's on call? It's gonna be you. So now you've got a payment that can change, repairs hitting you out of nowhere, and everything falls on you. That's a lot more than people think they're signing up for. So you're paying more than you expected, and on top of that, you might have overpaid for the house in the first place because people are still buying at some of the worst times possible.
The U.S. housing market is completely frozen right now.
Because houses are overpriced. Prices have to come down. Now a bunch of people lose their home equity.
All right, let me translate that real quick. He's basically saying houses are expensive right now and something is going to break.
You know, if they sell the property, they're not going to get their money back. So
Either prices come down, people stop buying, or people who bought too high get stuck. And this is where it gets risky for you, because if you buy at the wrong time, you're the one holding that bag. And right now, we've got high prices and high interest rates, which is one of the worst combinations for buyers. Because imagine dealing with rising payments, repairs hitting you out of nowhere, hidden costs stacking up, and you overpaid. That's where it really starts to feel like a scam, guys. Not because houses are bad, but because you paid the wrong price at the wrong time. That's when it really starts to feel like a scam. But here's the crazy part, guys. People are still being told to do it.
Buying is superior to renting. If you are a renter, you are paying rent to somebody who owns.
Okay, hold on. This is where people get it twisted. Let's just continue the clip though.
They're able to afford to pay their mortgage, insurance, taxes, everything else that goes along with it, the maintenance of the property. How do you think they're able to afford all of that? It comes from you, the renter.
Now, this might sound right, guys, but it's missing something so important. Yeah, your rent covers their cost, but what you're paying for is a fixed, predictable number. Owning is multiple numbers. And the biggest thing he's leaving out is risk. That landlord is going to take the risk. You just pay to live there. Homeowners take the risk and the cost when something goes wrong. Like everything we just talked about, you know, those payments going up, those hidden repairs and hidden costs. So yeah, owning can be better, but not if you're not ready for it. And this is where people get into the trouble because they hear stuff like this.
You buy now, you can always refinance your rate. But when demand hits the market, guess what happens to those home prices? That price goes up. You cannot renegotiate the price once you pay too much.
Okay, don't get me wrong. This is actually a very solid argument, but it only works if everything goes perfect. Yeah, you can refinance only if the rate drops, but what if they don't? Now you're stuck with a high rate, a high payment, and a house you already paid full price for. And now you're just sitting there like, yes, I'll be fine. Guys, this strategy works in a perfect market, but we're not in a perfect market right now. Think about the things that are going on in the world today. And that's why so many people feel stuck, because they made decisions based on what could happen, not what's actually happening. And to really understand this, you have to look at the numbers. Let's say you buy a $400,000 house. Your mortgage might be around $2,500, maybe $3,000 a month, depending on the rate. But that's not the full number, remember. We have to add property taxes, insurance, and then maintenance. Now you're going to be closer to $3,200 to $3,500 a month. And once again, that's assuming nothing goes wrong, which we already know something always seems to go wrong. This is why people feel blindsided, because they only focus on the mortgage, not the total costs. So when does it actually make sense to buy? And buying a house can feel like a scam right now, but that doesn't mean buying a house is a bad idea. It just means that timing matters. So the real question is, when does it actually make sense to buy? Once again, guys, don't overcomplicate it. I'm going to give you 3 clear rules that you can follow. Rule number 1, you can actually afford it. Not barely afford it, comfortably. If one surprise bill can mess you up, you're not ready yet. Rule number 2, you're ready for the responsibility, guys. You're ready for everything that comes with purchasing a home. We're talking repairs, taxes, insurance, everything that we just talked about. Because remember, you are the maintenance department now. And rule number 3, you're not rushing the market. The best time to buy is when it makes sense for you, not when the internet tells you to. And if you're not planning to stay in a house for at least a few years, you probably shouldn't be buying in the first place. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just a purchase, it's a long-term decision. This is where you're going to raise children in. So no, buying a house isn't a scam, but buying one without understanding all of this, that's where people get hurt. Now guys, you know, I appreciate every single one of you who watches the video and takes a look at this here. So if this helped you understand it better, subscribe, throw a like in there. I appreciate every single one of you who watches the video. I try and break this stuff down simply so you don't have to learn the hard way, and I like to add a little bit of, you know, comedy in there, make it at least a little funny. But I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day today. And I love you all, and thank you so much for the support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.